What happens when these two titans of the wilderness come face to face? Who would triumph in a showdown between the moose and the bear? Could the moose's sheer size and giant antlers overpower the bear? Or would the bear's claws, teeth, and killer instinct make it the champion? Stay with us until the end to find out. Meet the moose. Let's first meet our contender, the moose, a true heavyweight of the animal kingdom. A moose is like a deer on supersize mode. In fact, the moose is the largest member of the deer family, and it shows. A full-grown bull moose is enormous. It can weigh up to 1,500 pounds. It stands around 6 to 7 feet tall at the shoulder. That's taller than an NBA basketball player, just at the shoulder. I imagine an animal that could look into a second-story window without even stretching its neck. They are usually found in the cold northern regions. Think of the forests of Canada, Alaska, the northern United States, and across northern Europe and Asia. With long legs built for wading through snow and swamps, a moose cuts an impressive figure in its natural habitat. What do moose look like? They have a distinctive appearance, a humped back, a long horse-like face with a big drooping nose, and dangling flaps of skin under the chin called a bell. But the most striking feature, at least on males, is those antlers. A bull moose's antlers are huge, broad, and flat. Scientists call this shape palmate, like an open hand. They can span up to 5 or 6 feet across from tip to tip. That's wider than many cars. These antlers resemble giant tree branches or a living crown on the moose's head. They might look a bit goofy or like nature's hat rack, but make no mistake, they are serious weapons when needed. Each year, a bull moose grows a new set of antlers, and they use them to impress females and to joust with other male moose. If a fight breaks out, those antlers can crash together with a sound like baseball bats clashing. Now, despite being such a gigantic animal, the moose is an herbivore, a plant eater. Most of the time, it's peacefully munching on leaves, twigs, and water plants. Moose especially love water plants. In summer, they wade into ponds and lakes to eat aquatic vegetation. They're excellent swimmers. A moose can swim for many miles and even dive underwater for a minute or more to grab plants from the lake bottom. Generally, moose are calm, solitary grazers. They don't go looking for trouble. But if trouble finds them, they can become incredibly dangerous. In fact, moose can be surprisingly aggressive when threatened or provoked. In Alaska, more people are injured by moose each year than by bears. So what weapons does a moose bring to a fight? First, those impressive antlers can be used like big clubs or spears. Second, moose have hooves on the end of those long legs, and they know how to use them. A moose can kick out in any direction with its front or hind legs. Its kicks are powerful enough to break bones. For a bear or wolf, one well-placed kick could be deadly. Moose have been known to kill wolves that attacked them by stomping and kicking. Even a bear could get its ribs broken by a moose's kick. Its size is also a form of defense. It's tough to knock down an animal that big. And as we mentioned, a moose is a strong swimmer and fast runner, so escape is often its first choice. Surprisingly, for such a large creature, a moose can run up to 35 miles per hour, around 56 kilometers per hour. That's as fast as a galloping horse. A bear can run about that fast too, but here's the catch. A bear can only sprint briefly, while a moose can maintain high speed for long. Meet the bear, the mountain king. Now entering the arena is the bear. Specifically, let's imagine a large brown bear, like a grizzly bear, since grizzlies share habitat with moose and are known to sometimes prey on them. If the moose is the heavyweight herbivore, the grizzly is the heavyweight predator. Bears are legendary in wilderness lore for their strength and ferocity. A full-grown grizzly bear is a sight to behold. It might not stand as tall as a moose when on all fours, but it makes up for that with pure bulk and power. An adult male grizzly can easily weigh 600 pounds or more. In areas with abundant food, some brown bears reach enormous sizes, 1,000 pounds or even heavier. When on all fours, a grizzly's shoulder height is around 3 to 5 feet off the ground. But bears have a trick. They can stand up on their hind legs. When a large grizzly stands upright, it can tower around 8 to 9 feet tall, peering over bushes or even the head of a moose. Let's talk about the bear's arsenal. Claws and teeth are the bear's built-in weapons. Each paw has 5 claws, and these claws can be about 4 inches long, 10 centimeters, or even more. Then there are the teeth. Unlike moose, which have flat teeth for grinding plants, bears have the dentition of an omnivore, a mix of flat molars for plants and sharp canines for meat. A grizzly bear's canine teeth, the long pointed ones, can be 2 to 3 inches long. They're built to puncture and hold, and the bear's jaw strength is immense. A grizzly's bite has an estimated force of around 1,000 psi, pounds per square inch. Bears also come with a predator's senses and smarts. Grizzlies have an excellent sense of smell, one of the best in the animal kingdom. They can sniff out food from miles away. Their hearing is sharp too. Vision-wise, bears see about as well as humans do, and they're particularly good at detecting movement. In the twilight or in dense woods, these senses help a bear locate prey, like moose, even when the moose might not see the bear coming. The moose, by contrast, is not a predator. It doesn't need to sneak up on anything it eats. Moose have decent hearing and smell, but they're actually a bit nearsighted. So in terms of awareness, the bear often has the edge in detecting the opponent first. Now, how does a bear typically fight or hunt? Bears are somewhat opportunistic. They're not like lions that chase down every meal. A lot of bears' diet is grass, berries, roots, insects, and fish. But when a bear does decide to go after a big animal, it relies on sheer power and surprise. A grizzly bear attempting to take down a moose will often try to ambush it, maybe sneak close through the brush, and then suddenly charge. At full sprint, a grizzly can run as fast as 35 miles per hour for a short distance, which is as fast as the moose in a sprint. The initial charge is meant to close the gap quickly before the moose can react. When it attacks, the bear will try to strike with those claws and latch on with its teeth. A common tactic is for the bear to aim for the moose's neck or back. If the bear can get its jaws around the moose's throat or clamp onto the back of the moose's neck, it can use its powerful forelimbs to wrestle the moose to the ground. Bears have incredibly strong forearms. You might have seen how they flip heavy logs or wrestle each other. That strength can easily topple a moose if the bear gets the right grip. Once the moose is on the ground, the fight swings heavily in the bear's favor. The bear will then use its weight to keep the moose down and continue the attack, often biting repeatedly at the neck to cause critical damage or strangle the moose and clawing at the moose's belly. This kind of full-on mauling is how bears often dispatch large prey. It's not pretty, but it's effective. Bears also have a toughness that's hard to match. Their thick fur and layer of fat can cushion blows and kicks. There are accounts of bears enduring injuries that would stop other animals. For example, a bear might continue fighting even after being injured by prey or even hit by a bullet. This doesn't make them invincible, but it means in a fight, a bear might absorb a few nasty blows from the moose and keep going, whereas the moose, being a prey animal, might be more stunned by a serious wound. However, bears don't have antlers or horns for defense. They have to use their paws to block or just tank the hits. A bear's strategy is usually to end the fight quickly by bringing the opponent down. In contrast, a moose's strategy is often to make the fight costly and not worth the trouble. Now that we know the strengths of each, let's get back to the big question. What happens if they actually fight? It's time for the main event. Let's paint a dramatic picture of a moose versus bear fight. Keep in mind, in nature, such confrontations are relatively rare. Usually one of the two decides it's not worth it. But for the sake of our epic story, we'll imagine neither one backs down. In most cases, the bear would come out on top in this epic fight. The main reason is that bears are evolved to be predators. They have the tools and the experience in taking down large animals. A bear knows how to attack effectively, target weak spots, and persist until the job is done. Moose, for all their size and weapons, are not predators. They're built to graze and to flee from danger when possible. They can fight fiercely. As we saw, they have the capability to injure or even kill a bear with a well-placed kick or antler thrust. If the question was, could a moose ever win? The answer is yes. There are scenarios where a moose could fatally wound a bear. Nature can be unpredictable. A younger, smaller bear attacking a full-grown, healthy bull moose might get stomped to death, or a bear might slip up and get impaled by an antler. Those outcomes are possible, but they're the exception rather than the rule. More often, especially if we're talking about a big adult grizzly versus a moose, the odds favor the bear. Bears are used to hunting, and even a moose, huge as it is on a bear's menu, particularly calves and weakened adults. Moose carcasses have been found as evidence of bear meals, and wildlife biologists note that bears do prey on moose when the opportunity arises. On the flip side, moose generally don't seek out conflict. Their first line of defense is to run or hide. Only when they are cornered or protecting their young do they fight. But when they do, it's legendary. Many bears carry scars from encounter with moose and will think twice before tangling with such a formidable foe again. In conclusion, in a hypothetical epic fight between a moose and a bear, the bear is likely to win most showdowns, but it's never a guaranteed easy victory. The moose is a surprisingly tough opponent and can deal serious damage of its own. It's a bit like a duel between a swordsman, moose with its antlers, and a heavyweight boxer, bear with its brute force. If the swordsman lands a perfect strike, the boxer could fall. But if the boxer gets in close and starts punching, it's usually game over. In the wild, a smart bear might not even engage with a full-grown bull moose unless it's desperate, and a smart moose will use its speed or find a river to avoid the fight. Both animals would likely prefer to avoid this fight in real life. After all, avoiding injury is key to survival. So in my opinion, the bear gets the trophy in most cases. But the moose definitely earns respect as a powerhouse that shouldn't be underestimated.